Oh, oh. You know that me and you, our own discussion is different.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So let's get at it. Let's get to it. Let's get in it. Let's get on it. Whatever proposition works. All right. So you can see the classes. The first and second one are there. The third class is there. I don't know. This is class 1. This is class 3 somewhere. There's class 2 somewhere. Okay, class 1, class 2, class 3. I think the naming is what's the problem. All right. So the classes are available. I would convert them to public so that we can have access to them. So the classes are on, right? Please engage them, all right, so that we can learn from them, right? Thank you. Awesome. Let me close YouTube so that it does not drag my. Close this as well. So that we can have this slide only. All right, let's continue. All right, so follow me. So our question yesterday was that hold on, let me increase my font. All right, so yesterday we said create a schema for Nigeria, and inside the schema, create a citizen table with 10 attributes. Declare their data types and length appropriately. So let's do that, right? How do we start? We all know that this is, for you to create a schema, you use the create schema. So let me just put solution as hashtag, right? Or the comments, sorry, solution. So we say create table. Create table. I'm sorry, I said create table. Create schema Nigeria. Right now, if you look at it, the schema names usually come in small letters, so there's no need to use capital letter. It will come out as small letter, right? The schema names usually comes out as small letter, right? So create schema Nigeria, right? If we run this statement now, what do we have, right? The schema is created, right? The schema is created. Can you see? So if we reload this now, right? Can you see Nigeria, right? So I want to drop, I remember yesterday that I said, if you want to drop a schema, we've created a schema. If you do not have a use for a schema and you want to drop the schema, what you need to do is say drop schema, right? And I say Africa, I want to drop Africa. I have a schema there called Africa that I want to drop. If you run this now, right, what you're running is a DDL statement. Can you see instantly the schema is gone? Right, so these are DDL statements. Remember yesterday we said that DDL statements are auto commit statements, right? Let me put it there, right? DDL, data definition language statements, are auto commits, right? So it means that they get saved, their changes, the changes they make get saved directly, get saved automatically, right? It gets saved automatically, right? And you can see the effect immediately, right? You would understand that when we get to committing transactions or transaction control language, right? I will break down how that works and all that, right? So that we understand what happens in memory and how it relates to we executing DDL statements and DML statements and the likes, right? So DDL, just know that DDL statements are auto-committed. And I mentioned yesterday that you have to be careful with them because of the fact that they are auto-committed, right? So please just follow me, right? So now that we have created we've created the schema, right? What do? We want to activate the schema by saying use what? Nigeria, right? Is that correct? Please let me know. Is that correct? Is that correct? Right. So you can see Nigeria, the Nigerian schema is what is active now, right? Nigerian schema is active. And we said create a citizen table with 10 attributes, right? I saw some people's assignment, if I cache some, they do not do up to 10 and they are submitting. They know themselves, I will not coordinate. They do not do up to 10 attributes, right? So we said 10 attributes, right? Create table. Create table citizen, right? Then you say open brackets, right? So we want to create the first statement now. The first column would be, right, citizen ID, right? Our citizen ID in Nigeria is what? Citizen
NIN.
ID. What is our citizen NIN?
NIN.
So let's use NIN. Let's use NIN, right? We said NIN is what? Is integer. NIN is integer and it is unsigned, right? Right. Today I'm going to explain what unsigned means to you so that you understand it, right? NIN unsigned, right? Then we said what? Nigeria we use first name, right? First name. So I'm going to use my normal notation, right? First name, Vacha 30, right? Last underscore name. Vacha 30.
I no longer hear you.
All right. So Vacha 30, right? Then what do we have? Give me attributes. Give me attributes. Gender.
Date of birth.
Gender.
Address.
Right. Let's say character. Right. Gender, character. Let's say gender is 1. Right.
Date
Let's
of
say
birth,
what
sir.
else? Date of birth.
Date
Right.
of birth.
Marital
Hold on.
status.
One after the. Hold on. Date of birth. Let's take it one after the other. Date of birth. Right. We say date of birth is what? Is date. Right. Marital status. Marital status is character single, married, Abi. Okay, let's use Bacha. Right, now make sure. Now, what if you look at it, right? I saw in one person's code, right? I think I'm trying to remember what variable the person used, right? And the person gave an unnecessary. Now, I'm going to say unnecessary because I'm trying to explain, but I'm not faulting the person for it because probably the person doesn't know, right? Of course, we're just learning, right? The person gave an unnecessary amount of length, right? The length that you create, right? What this length does in databases is that we have to give, you have to be able to think about space management when you are creating your tables, right? You think about space management, right? If I take for example, if your father just looks at you and say, because Moyo, in this house that I want to build, because Moyo has plenty clothes, right? Or because we have plenty load and it just creates an unnecessarily big house, what happens? What you discover that is that you have wasted a whole lot of space, right? And those space you might not be able to reclaim until when you adjust the structure of the house, which is the same thing that happens on the database. When you give, so take for example, marital status, and I give 30 as the length, right? What it means is that I have locked that column. What I've done in memory is that I've locked down a set of memory out for it, which is what all of this is doing, right? And that column does not need that amount of what data, right? I think the highest marital character length will be, marital status character length will be, that's married, single, divorced, all of those, right? Maybe 10, right? So it means that you have another extra of 20 white space, just making problem for your database. So you want to adjust the length to the highest or the longest possible character, right? Not giving unnecessary spacing, right? So let me just say 10 here. Voucher 10, right? Residence.
Sorry, sir, we're no longer
So I
seeing
don't
your
see your
screen.
Wait, what
And
now?
someone else is sharing their screen.
Who is sharing screen? Hey, you looked. Who is that? If you are the one sharing screen, be a Christian. I think it's Madam Angela. Please don't share screen. Person just took away my screen. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please, let's try not to share screen. Madam, could you talk to me? Madam, could you talk to me? I see you raised your hands.
Sorry, that was an error. Sorry.
All right. So residence address, right? Virtual, right? Let's see virtual. Virtual address can be long, so let's say virtual 50. Let's close that. Right. What else? Employment status.
State of origin.
Okay, state of origin. Thank you. Employment status. Let's say 15. State of origin. But I think the longest state, let's say batch 10 for that. Right. What else?
Mobile number.
Local
Thank you.
government.
Phone number. Int. Local government. All right. What else? I think we should stop it here so that we don't. Alaga, talk to me.
Sir, what is the
Good evening,
difference between Facha and Cha? I can
All right,
see
good.
you use
Vacha,
Cha in the gender.
yes. Vacha basically means that. Okay, let me close this. Right, let's terminate this. Right. Variable Vacha means variable character. Right. So it means that the length of the character is variable, right? It can be anything, right? Variable character, right? The length of the character can be as long as anything, right? But char means fixed character, right? So when we say char, take for example, and I say char 2, right? So I say, okay, like in the example, I say 1. What it means is that in that column, the data that each person can have there is only one character. So in this situation now, right, in this situation that you have here, the reason why we did this is that we are saying that the gender will be male or female. Are you following me? Male or female. That is what it's going to be, male or female, right? That's why it is one character, right? But if it's going to be more than one character, if everything is going to be 4 characters, right, I can say 4 characters, right? If I say 4 characters, it means that they're going to be what 4 characters for every class in that variable, right? But if I know that the character is like, take for example, we don't have the same length of name, right? My name is Oluwaseun. Oluwaseun is about 9 characters, right? Ebuka's name is about 11 or 12 characters. Femi's name is about 6 characters. You can see the variations in the length of name, right? What that means is that we cannot use a fixed length. We have to use a variable length, and that's where VACHA comes into play. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here we let me remove this. So let's now if you look at my code, right? What do you see? You see that there is no red line. There's no red line. There's no error basically. And that is because I followed all the necessary rules, right? My variable names are accurate, my data types are appropriate, and I've given length to all the ones that need length. Are you following me? Right? And that's what I expect of us, right? So most of us that I've seen, right, we did well, right? We did well. If you have issues with yours, you can use this code to what? To edit it, right? You can use this code to edit it. Right? You can use this code to edit. Any question?
I have questions.
Yes, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. So where we have house address, you know, we are supposed to put a number and some letters. What are we going to
Yes.
put there? Is it VACHA or
It's VACHA.
integer?
VACHA. Right? Remember, if you use the idea of R programming, right? Remember that if you put a text in quotes, right, it is character, right? And I told you that if you put a numeric value alongside a character value, right? I'm saying this now to everyone. If you put a numeric value alongside a character value, right? What it means is that that numeric value will be converted to character, or it will be seen as character, right? So because character takes precedence over numeric value. Right? So whatever address you have, even if your name, you know, there are people who OBS King Arthur the second, King Arthur the third, King Oluwaseun the fourth, and so on and so forth, right? Whatever figure is in your name in that situation is character. Hence, we use VACHA for that kind of variable. We use VACHA for that kind of variable. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. So I said I wanted to. Okay. So
Sir.
before we do that, yes.
Where you put
Talk to me.
date in date of birth.
Yes.
If we are to enter the details of that date of birth, is it going to be automatic one, or we are going to insert date by ourselves?
You have to insert the date by yourself. DD, and if you are going to insert it in this format, DD, MM, YY. I mean, CC. Hello. Right. CC. Let me mute your mic, please. Let me mute your mic, please. CC, YY. That's century, year, month, and day. This is the format in which the date has to come into play. Don't worry. When we start inserting into values, right? I'll do an example of an insert statement so that you can see what this becomes, right? When you begin to insert into your variables, into the table, right? You have to follow what you have here so that you don't have errors, right? So that you don't have errors. I hope you understand that, right? So you have to insert the date in that format, right? You have to insert the date in that format. CYY -MM -DD. Does that answer your question? Do you understand that?
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Awesome. Right. So I wanted to talk about the unsigned that we use with integer, right? Before I forget that, unsigned that comes with integer, right? So when you say integer unsigned, right? I told you that initially, right? The initial way that we use integer is integer with length, right? You can say 11 for phone number, right? Our phone number in Nigeria is 11 characters, right? This is the formal way of using what's integer. And we saw yesterday that it gave us a caution sign to say that this format is what is deprecated and will not be in future, will not be allowed in future DBMS, MySQL and all of that. And it's not just in MySQL, right? I'm sure that if it happens in MySQL, it's probably in most SQL language, right? So what happens is that, right, this format does not exist anymore. So we now use unsigned, right? Unsigned basically is, I want you to put it down, right? If you say unsigned, right? Unsigned integer is a 32 bits, right? Basically, right? Don't let me overstress it. It's a non-negative integer, which means that it's a non-negative integer with the range of 0 to, now look at it, 4294. Hold on. 4294 96 7295. 4294767295. You can put this down, right? So what does that mean? It means that the lowest value that you can have with integer unsigned is 0, and the highest value that you can have is this value, right? This is 1 2 1 2 2. That's about 4,294,976,295, right? So this is the length of data that you can have when you use integer unsigned, right? So if you look at it, our phone number in Nigeria is what? Right? Did we put phone number there? Look at it. There's an error in the code, right? Now look at it, right? Look at it. Our phone number is what? Let me use, our phone number is 11 characters, right? Now, how many characters is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So this would not allow our phone number to exist, right? What this means is that if you want to write a phone number, what you have will be 765 this, right? How many is that? 3, 3. This is 3, this is 6, this is 9, okay, 10, right? You have right. So this will be the length. This is how the phone number will exist, because why? The 0 in front of it makes it 11. Hence, this is not what? This is not our phone number. So what do we do for the phone number column, right? If I want to change this, I'm not going to use unsigned. I'm going to say big int, right? Big int. Yeah, big int. Big int. Please let me know if you understood what I just said now.
Yeah, understood, sir.
Awesome. Please let me know if you understood it. Let me know. I need confirmations from people.
Mr. Shem,
Yes, ma'am.
what will you now use for that big int? Which digit?
Big int is big int. Big int is big int. Big int is, let me show you the length of big int, right? Big int is minus, look at it, minus, pay attention, 2,223, 372, comma 036, comma 854, comma 775, comma 807, right? To this plus Can you see? This is big int, right? Big int in saying that it can go up to a negative value of this length, right? This is how many trillions now, right? Don't ask me to tell you this in words. I will fail it. Right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is about 9 trillion, right? Right? So this is minus 9, this value, 2 plus 9, this value. So you can see what this big int can accommodate. Big int can accommodate more values than what? Than integer. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Sammy, talk to me. Sammy, talk to me.
Hello, sir.
Yes, talk to me, ma.
Okay, you mean where we have numbers that are more than 10?
Yes.
We can't use integer.
You can't use integer.
That's what you basically mean.
Exactly. So if you have salary and somebody is earning 10-digit salary or 11-digit salary, right? You cannot use integer. Use big int.
Hello, Mr. Shin.
Okay.
Yes, ma. Talk to me.
Okay, so in the place of phone number, can we use numeric?
Numeric. Yes, you can use numeric. Numeric is a data type as well, right? Numeric.
Okay, also in the place of the NIM, which stands as the unique identifier, can you use primary key?
All right, we'll talk about that's actually what we want to do. Primary key is not a data type.
Oh, okay.
Do you follow? Are you following me? Primary key is not a data type. Primary key is a constraint, right? Now look at this, right? The reason why we don't use numeric is that numeric is a general data type for numbers, right? Numeric means integer, it means small int, it means decimal, it means big int and all that. It means float, it means double and all that, and precision, right? So it's a general data type, right? So you have to be specific for the columns, right? So that's why we have those sub inside of it, right? Like the sub, which is big int, small int, int itself, float, double, and the likes, right? But this is the general data type, right? It will work, right? But what it means is that it would allow any kind of numeric data type inside of that column. Do you understand that?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Ebuka, talk to me.
Yes, sir. This big int, yeah, can we just like, instead of using int sometimes, can we just use big int? Like if we just use it where it can actually accommodate for numbers less than 10 digits, like is there a problem? Just in case.
No, there's no problem. You can use it, right? You can
Okay.
use it. But remember, right? The space allocation that for big int is more than the space allocation for small int or integer.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, so that's basically why we try to understand, because basically what this is, your code will run, but in the execution of the code, right, your code will run perfectly. But in the processing time of the code, right, or when you are putting values into it, right, it will process each of those values, even if it is one that you are putting in that column, right? It will one single value, right? It will process it as if it is a big int. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
Okay,
if you
sir.
want your code to
Okay,
work
sir.
faster, if you want your code to work faster, you have to be able to understand the data types and their types. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And the one that is appropriate. Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Any other question before? We've not done anything today. We're still, but I like the fact that we're clarifying stuff. So I hope everybody
I
is
have a
following.
question, sir.
Yes,
So I have
ma'am.
a question.
Good
Okay,
evening,
let
sir.
Madam Angela ask. Hold on. Let Madam Angela ask a question before. That's Biola. Biola, hold on. Madam Angela, talk to me. Good evening. Welcome.
Okay,
You
sir,
came
like
late.
this residence address.
Address. Okay.
You put 50. I don't understand.
Yes. What is it?
You
You don't understand why I put 50.
Yeah.
You don't understand why I put 50?
Yes.
Right. Look at some people's address. Look at some people's address of number 10. Adeni Bankole Street. Iju Ishaga. Iju Agege. Off whatever street, Toyin Street, Lagos, Nigeria. Right? Look at the length of this address. If we begin to count these words one after the other, right?
Yeah.
If we begin to count these things one after the other, let me see if we can use length to get the length out.
So you didn't put column at the end.
Column as in. I know I'm trying to see if I can force this data type, this function to push me value for it. Okay, no, do not. Right, but look at that address. Look at how long that address is, right? Look at how long that address is, right? So when the address is long, right? Some people's address are short, some people's address are very long. Right? That is over 50 characters. The address I just put is over 50 characters. So you want to accommodate all sorts of address. So you're looking at it and say that, okay, maybe the highest address would have 50 characters. That's why I use 50. Right? In some situations, right, it could be what? It could even be 100 or 150, depending on the length of what you want to put. Right. So take for example, right? If it was a movie database and you're saying movie description, right? Is it description or synopsis or whatever they call it, right? Let's say movie description, right? I would say Vacha, right? And probably put 500, right? But there are characters for Vacha that is very long, right? You want to put a single novel in a single cell. You want to put a whole novel, the text inside a novel into a single cell, right? You now begin to have long raw, club and all of that, right? There's a whole lot of data type for all of those kind of things, right? So you just need to understand whatever you want to put into your data and how large it is to be able to determine the data type that you want to use.
Okay, what I'm trying to get, like, some people's address is not up to 50. Yes. You understand?
Yes.
Then some people is shorter than that 50. But you can just quote to be at the safer side, right?
Yes, that 50 will cater for the short ones and the ones that are up to that length.
Okay. I understood.
Any other question before we continue?
Yes, sir. So I have a question.
Biola, you wanted to ask me a question? Yes. Biola, where are you? Okay, talk to me.
If you run this table for this thing, the table for Nigeria for citizen, if you run it, can it be edited?
Yes, we can edit it. Yeah.
So
like in this situation, hold on. In this situation where I said phone number is integer unsigned, and I said it is a mistake, right? I can edit it. I'll show you how to edit it very soon, right? We can edit it. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can edit it. That's where the alter statement comes into play. The alter statement. You would see it. You see it as a person. You can edit. Any other question? Biola?
Yes. I wanted to ask a question.
I do have a question.
Okay. You don't have a question, Biola?
No.
Okay, but I thought you wanted to talk. Okay, Sammy, talk to me.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm the numbers you put in the bracket. Is it that you have to use your discretion, like in a case of you have the state of origin, the employment status. So
yes, you have to use your discretion.
so
You know the
for phone number you don't put there, and then for date of birth.
no. So for phone number, right? We were not in class yesterday. Phone number we use integer, and we said this integer do not. We use the integer does not use. We don't use what's called length for integer because once we use unsigned, it means that we can have from 0 to this length of characters, from 0 to 4 million length of characters, right? This length of characters. So that's why we do. So we mean that whatever value that we want to use is inside of this length, right? Is accumulated by this length. Are you following me? But for characters, for virtual, basically, right, you have to put the length, right? The length you're putting is the longest possible length of that character, right? Of any value in that column. The longest. Are you following me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we do. Can I continue now? Any other question? Any other question? Any other question?
So I didn't really hear what you said about editing your table.
Right. I said that he asked me a question to say, is it possible for us to edit a column in a table after you have created it? Yes, and I said yes. That's where we use the alter statement.
Okay, sir.
All right. For me. Right. I want to find out the length of this. Look at it. That address has 83 character length. It's 83 character length. Can you see? That address has 83 characters inside of it. So it means that if I use 25, or if I'd used 50 here, 50 will not have accommodated this address. Are you following me? Because the length of that address alone is what? It's 83, right? So 50 would have what? It exceeded 50. So 50 would not have allowed this address to come in. And we have to what? We have to extend. So sometimes when you have what 50, right, and somebody just comes with this address, what it means is that for you to be able to put this address, you have to alter that column. You have to make changes on that column before that data can come into play. And that's where the alter statement comes into play, right? We'll see how to do that as we proceed. Right? So can I continue? I hope there's no other question. If there are no other questions, then let me continue. So yesterday, right? Yesterday we looked at table, right? How to create a table. And if you look at it, it's that simple, right? It's that simple, right? Tables are created that simple, right? Just using the create table and the name of the table and declaring the what's it called? The columns, right? So when you create a table, right? When you create a table like we've done here, right? You can now what? To check the description, right? To check the description of the table, right? To check description. So take, for example, what does this mean? To check the description of a table. Imagine that you are not the one who created the table, right? And you want to work with the table. right? And you don't know what is in the table. What are the things that have been declared on the table? How do you, so I just give you an assignment and say, okay, I want you to run a query on the citizen table. But you're not the one who created this table. How do you familiarize yourself with the table, right? We do that by using the word describe, right? You can say describe citizen, right? Is that what we call it? Citizen. Describe citizen. Hold on. Describe citizen. Right? If I describe citizen now, can you see? It gives me the structure of my table. I hope everybody can see. Right? It gives me what's the structure of my table. Look at everything that we did here. Look at it. Field name, the type, null value. We'll talk about null values later. Key, default, and all of that. Look at it. NIN. Is NIN not our first column? Look at it. NIN. Integer, unassigned. All right? Unsigned. First name, Vagateti. Last name, Vagateti. Can you see? So, gender, can you see? Character, date of birth. It will give you everything, right? This is how to familiarize yourself with a table, right? You describe the table, right? So you can use describe, or you say DESC, right? DESC citizen, right? You don't have to type it in full. DESC citizen will do the same thing, right? It will execute and do the same thing. You describe the table. This gives you, I'll say it again. This the description of a table, right? Let me write this. Describing a table allows you the structure of table. So basically, what I'm seeing here is the architecture of the table, how the table, what makes up the table, right? So I can, from here, even though I'm not the one who created it, I can know that from here, I know that, okay, the integer column is, the NIN column is integer. So it allows what numeric value. Oh, the first name column is the gender, okay, the gender is one character, and so on and so forth. It allows me to see the structure of the table. So that's described for you, right? That is described for you. So when you see a table and you want to work with the table and you're not the one who created that table, what do? You describe the table. You describe the table. You describe the table. Right? Let's proceed. Now, let's talk about another object another object of the database, right? And it is called the constraints. It's called constraints. So basically, what is constraints? Constraints are rules that are enforced on the table. Constraints are what? They are rules that helps us enforce consistency, right? Constraints helps us enforce consistency. Can you see? Ensures consistency and integrity of the database, right? It's constraint enforces rules at the table at the table level. I'll explain, right? So when we say you enforce rules, what are these rules that we're talking about? What are the types of constraints that helps us enforce rules, right? Not null. Not null is the first one, right? What does that mean? When you say something is not null, it specifies the column. It specifies that the column cannot contain a null value. What is a null value? Remember yesterday I told you that a null value is an empty It's an empty value. Right? Null values are what? Null values are what? Are empty They are empty. They are not applicable. That's basically what it means. Right? So when I say salary null, it means that this column does not apply to that person. Follow me. So it means that that value cannot hold. Is 0. 0 is not null. 0 is the value, right? If we say salary is 0, right? It's different from saying salary is nothing, right? Because 0 is the value. Null is not the value. 0 multiplied by 5 is 0. Null multiplied by 5 is null. Are you following me? So null value is unapplicable or unassigned. That's what we call it. Not applicable or not assigned. Hold on. Hold on. So null values, all right? Let me just do that here. Null. Hold on. I hope you can see my screen. All right, I'm doing this so that we can see. I don't want to. So null values are unapplicable or unassigned. So when you say a column is not null, what does that mean? When we say a column is not null, what does that mean? It means that that column cannot contain null value, cannot contain empty values. That's basically what we're saying, right? That's basically what we're saying, right? Not null. Specifies that the column contains what? A null. I mean, this column specifies that the column cannot contain a null value, right? Emphasis on cannot contain. Column cannot contain a null value, right? That is one rule. So when you want to say a column is compulsory, right? When you want to say a column is compulsory, what do we use? We use what? Not null, right? It helps us enforce that what? There must be value in that column, right? Then the next what? The next what constraint is what is called the unique what? The unique constraint. It says specifies a column or a combination of columns whose value must what? Must be unique. Must what? Whose values, right? Those values must be unique for all rows in the table, right? The values in this what? In this kind of situation, the values are unique, right? An example of this is email address, right? Email address. Email address. No two people share the same email address. Are you following me? No two people share the same email address. No two people in a proper organization should share the same phone number. Right? No two people share the same email address. No two people must share the same what? The same phone number. Now, constraint, I said constraint. The unique constraint is used to enforce uniqueness. It's used to what? To enforce what? Uniqueness, right? Let's continue. You see all of them in play, right? I don't want you to get lost, right? Let's just continue. Let's pick them one after the other, right? Then we have the primary key constraint. We mentioned the primary key yesterday. I'm going to say primary constraints uniquely identifies each row of a table, right? So if you look at it, the primary key and the unique key, they kind of look as if they are doing the same thing. The difference between the two of them is that the primary key enforces what? Uniqueness of what? Of a row. Can you see? Uniquely identifies a row. The primary key helps us what? Uniquely identify a row. Uniquely identifies an observation, right? What does that mean? It means that in this class, as we're about 15 or 16 or so, right? Each person would have their own registration number. In your school, when you were in the university, when you were in secondary school and all of that, when even as Nigerians, right? We all have what? When we were in school, we had a unique matric number. We have a unique NIN. Are you following me? Right? So what does that mean? It means these values, right, have a primary key constraint on them, which means that this column, whenever you put a primary key column on a table, right? Primary key constraint on the table, the column, when you put primary key column on a primary key constraint on a column, that column cannot contain duplicated value. Right? That column it cannot contain duplicated value. So what that means, it means that for your matric number in school, the matric number on your database, the matric number on the student database has a primary key on it such that no student, either when your school is as old as University of Ibadan, in the history of University of Ibadan, no student I don't think any two students share the same matric number. Of course, you can't run out of numbers, so you have to continue to to create new numbers and create new numbers as we continue, right? And that university is about 70-something years old now, right? If you go to universities that are as old as Harvard University, you discover it's the same principle. No two students in their history would share the same word, matric number. In Nigeria, where 213 million people are sat this year, what that means is that each person has a unique NIN. If you go into America today, they will not give you a social security number of somebody who has died. No, they create a new social security number for you. If you go to the UK tomorrow, they'll give you, I think it's BRD or BRI or whatever they call it, or BRF or whatever, right? They give you a unique value. Because why? That unique value uniquely identifies you. And that's the essence of a primary key, right? We'll look at it. When a primary key now is now referenced, right? Look at it. We'll talk about foreign key now. Say foreign key constraint establishes and enforces, look at it, establishes and enforces a referential integrity between the column and the column of a reference table, right? Fancy English there, right? Such that the values in one table matches the value in another table. Basically, what this is saying is that when you now have a primary key column referenced on another table, when you have a primary key column referenced on another table, right, that column becomes a foreign key. Because what it means is that value, that column, is getting its value from the primary key column. Don't stress it. I will explain that much later. Then we have the check constraint. Check constraint specifies a condition that must be met, or a condition that must what? That must be true, right? So you are saying that I can say I want to put a check constraint. I want to put a check constraint on what? On the salary column to check that salary of every employee is greater than 0. So which means that this check constraint, you remember data validation in what's it called now? In Excel, right? Data validation in Excel, right? This check constraint does exactly that function. It helps you check to make sure that what the value that you're inserting is what meets a particular what condition. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Please let me know if you get an idea of what we're talking about before I move into the practical and I show you how to do that, because your next assignment, you're going to be implementing constraints, right? I promise you, it's very easy and it's very simple. People run away from this concept because, right? I don't know why. But this training is to break it down for you, because constraint is what helps us create models. Constraint is what we use, especially the primary and foreign key constraints. They are what we use to create the data model. So they are very important for us to understand them, right? They're very important for us to understand them. So talk to me if you understood to an extent. It doesn't have to be full understanding. You don't have to understand the 5 of them, right? Just tell me, just raise up your hand and tell me, okay, I understand no constraint, I understand unique constraint, I understand primary constraint. Oh, I do not get foreign constraint at the moment, and so on and so forth. So let me know. Talk to me. Just raise up your hand. Let me see you. All right. Awesome. Okay. Mama, talk to me.
No, I understand. Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Who else? Talk to me. I'll call your name.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I don't really, if you could differentiate between the unique and primary key again.
Awesome.
I didn't get the distinction. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Right. Ebube, talk to me.
About the foreign key and the primary key, I didn't also get that foreign key very well. And the null.
We'll talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about it. Right. Sammy, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, they asked the questions already.
Oh, okay, awesome. Alaja, talk to me.
Is the unique key and the primary key that is somehow I think the way you've explained it is somehow the same. It has the same meaning. So I don't know.
Not necessarily. Yes. Don't worry. I will distinguish them. I will distinguish them. Right. I will distinguish them. Right. Just follow me. Queen, I've not heard from you. Mr. Oluwafemi, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm sure I'm there.
Don't be there. Talk to me. Talk to me. Right. This
And maybe when I watch, maybe when I go over what you guys did yesterday, I will be able to. But I think I'm trying
to understand. Awesome. Okay. All right. Don't worry. Right. Just follow me. Just follow me. I'll try and bring everything again together so that which the practical will do will bring everything together again. Right. Madam Susan, Madam Peju, Madam Oduak, talk to me. Talk to me. Madam Angela, talk to me. Moyo, talk to me.
I understand.
Ismaila, talk to me. Oh, nice. Nice. Awesome. Madam Oduak, are you there?
Yes, sir. I want to ask you one thing.
Hold on, Madam Angela. Hold on. Just hold your question for me. Let me confirm from everybody. Madam Oduak, talk to me.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Madam Peju, talk to me.
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Madam Sue, talk to me. Madam Moyo, talk to me.
I'm following.
Huh?
I'm following you.
All right. All right. All right. Madam Angela, can you ask a question? Can I ask you a question?
What I want to ask is this. Does it do the same work with the data validation? The one with the that constraint? Because I know we did something like that with data validation.
Not necessarily. Data validation is close, right? But constraint is more advanced and is more useful, right? Data validation, yes, is close. Data validation is close, but constraint is more advanced and more useful. Constraint helps us to enforce rules, right? Let me just jump right into it, right? So that everybody can see what I'm talking about, right? So let us look at these columns. Let us look at these columns that we declared earlier, right? Let's look at these columns that we declared earlier. Just follow me, right? So we created a table, and we want to enforce rules on it, right? Let's look at it. What does that mean, right? Look at it. We created a table, and we said that these are the attributes of the table, right? This basically forms the column. Queen and Mr. Femi and whoever wasn't in class yesterday, I'm doing this because of you so that you understand what we're doing, right? So we use the create table statement to create the table, right? This citizen is the name of the table. Look at the table here on this side. Can you see? That's the table, citizen table, right? Citizen, under what's Nigeria, right? We'll talk about that. Excuse me, sir. Proceed, right? Yes, talk to me.
So there's nothing showing on your screen. I don't know if it's
nothing.
No, I thought you are sharing your screen, but I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, really? Let me stop sharing and reshare again. Please confirm to me if you can see my screen or when you can see my screen.
Okay.
Can you see my screen now?
No.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes.
Mr. Femi, you know what you do for me?
Sir.
Can you log out and log in again?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. I'll wait for you 1-2 minutes. All right. While I'm expecting Mr. Femi to join us, right? So I'll wait for him for talk.
This table now. Is it I will go to, like, how do I get to this particular point? Okay, I will just go to the workbench. Then I don't know from where.
Wait.
Sir?
You owe me money. You owe me money. When we finish class, right? Follow me, right? Follow me for today. When we finish class, don't rush out of class. Just stay.
Okay. All right.
Do you understand? So I can explain the process to you, but you owe me money. All right. So, all right. I think he's back. All right, Mr. Femi, welcome. Can you see my screen? Hello, Mr. Femi, can you see my screen?
I can only see you, but I can't see your screen.
Whoa. You can see me, but you can't see my screen, right?
Okay, yes. Now I can see yours. I mean, I can see your screen now.
All right, all right.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so look at it, everyone. We want to be very practical and don't think technical about this thing. These things are very easy. I told you earlier, I think in the first class, I said if you understand English language and you understand logic, you understand SQL already, right? So we are creating a database. We created a database called Nigeria, and we created a table inside of it called citizen. Now, what is the essence of this citizen table? The citizen is a real life data point that Nigeria is interested in. So Nigeria wants to know its citizens. So he wants to keep the data of the citizens, right? So he creates a table in his database to keep the data of the citizens, right? What characteristics of these citizens does Nigeria want to know, right? So Nigeria wants to know the NIN of the citizen, right? So the question is, let's do it this way. Is NIN compulsory? Now, this is not part of the query. I'm just, okay, let me use hashtag, right? So that you know that this is a comment, right? Is NIN compulsory for all citizens? I want answers. Is NIN compulsory for all citizens?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So we say compulsory, right? I'm going to compulsory. So compulsory. Right. I think I got that right. Right? Compulsory. Is first name compulsory for all citizens?
Yes.
First name is compulsory. Awesome.
Yes.
Is last name compulsory for all citizens?
Yes.
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 Last name is compulsory for all citizens, right? So let's put compulsory. Is gender compulsory for all citizens?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Is date of birth compulsory for all citizens?
Yes.
Yes.
So that Nigeria can send you text and say happy birthday, right? Compulsory. Even though the day Nigeria sends you birthday, happy birthday, just know it's scam. You don't go be thinking Nigeria loves you like that. It's scam, right? Lai Mohammed does not have time for that one. He's our interior minister. He's supposed to be sending us text. But that nigga does not have our time. Marital status, is it compulsory?
No.
Marital status is not compulsory, Abby?
No.
But how do we know? How do we know the total number of?
It is.
How do we know the total number of single and unmarried people?
Married.
So let's say it is compulsory, right?
I have a suggestion. I think NIN is not compulsory for citizens below 18.
NIN. For everybody, NIN is compulsory.
Below 18. Below 18.
Yes.
Yes.
For everybody. Yes.
Even if
like it is, you cannot even do international passport without NIN.
NIN.
Exactly.
It's compulsory.
Exactly. It's very compulsory. Once you give birth to a child, right, they will tell you that you should go and at so number of months, I think 6 months or so, you should go and do the NIN for the child. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Right? So marital status is compulsory, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Right? What else is compulsory? Right, let's go down. Right? Residence address, of course, compulsory. Right? Employment status, so that Nigeria will know the number of employment and unemployed people, compulsory. Right? State of origin, of course, compulsory. Phone number, compulsory. So that we can track you.
It's not compulsory.
Right? Phone number, compulsory.
Some
Right?
people don't get
So
phone
look
number.
at it. Local government, compulsory. Right? All right. So when you say something is compulsory, what does that mean? It means that every single citizen must have it. Hence, we call that not null. right? We use not null for that. We say that that column cannot be empty for anybody, not null. Are you following me? We call that what? Not null, right? So it means that for every citizen, they must have that what? They must have that data. They must have data in that column. I'll show you, right? We'll show you. I'm showing you already. When we are inserting into the tables, you'll see it. Not null, right? Not null. Date of birth, not null, right? And if a column is going to be null, let me see. Let's assume that marital status is not compulsory, right? I'm going to assume that marital status is not compulsory. How do we specify that it's not compulsory? I don't need to specify not null. That's basically it, right? So that column, I'm going to say, I'm going to leave it that way. Residency address, compulsory. Employment status, let's assume, we're assuming, right? In real life scenario, these things are compulsory, right? So I'm going to assume that residence address, employment status, Nigeria does not care, right? State of origin, right? What does that mean? State of origin is what? Is compulsory, right? So we say not null, right? Phone number, what do we say? Is what? Not null. Local government, let's say local government is what? Is not compulsory, right? So what do you have? We have close brackets, right? So what we have declared is that we have declared not null constraints. Are you following me? We have what? We have declared what? Not null constraints. That is how to declare your not null constraint. Right. Another thing we want to do is that we want to say which of these columns, right? Let's look at it. Let's go back to our slide to see. What did we say not null is? Specify that what? A column cannot what? Cannot contain what? A null value, right? Awesome. Right. Let's go back to our code. Let's look at columns like phone number, the phone number column, right? Let's assume and say that phone number is what? Is not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Moyo, talk to me. I see your hand raised. Can you see me? Can you see my screen? Can you hear me?
Yes, the screen is coming back, but it's not. We haven't seen it clearly.
Oh, okay. I think the rain affected the network. The rain is affecting the network, or the rain affected the network. The rain affected the network. Are we good now? Moyo, talk to me.
I raised my hand earlier, but you've answered the question.
Oh, okay. All right. Are we good now? Can we all see my screen? Please let me know so that I can continue. Please let me know if you can see my screen. If you can hear me and you can see my screen, please let me know.
I can hear you, sir. I see your screen as well.
All right. All right. So I'm going to continue. Right. So let's go back to that. So we're saying that I'm talking about the phone number column now. I'm saying that not all children have phone numbers, right? Your babies do not have phone numbers. You probably give a phone to a baby, to a child, maybe when they are 14, thereabout. Some people wait till they are 18 and all of that, right? So we have a large number of people in Nigeria between the age of, let's assume, between the age of 0 and 14 who do not have what? Who have NINs but do not have phone numbers. Hence, we cannot say phone number is compulsory. So we remove what? The compulsory there. But look at it. If you have a phone number, it is possible that you don't have a phone number. But if you have a phone number, that phone number must what? Must be unique. True of us. Hello, I need responses. True or false?
True.
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 Right? That phone number, or how many of you share your phone numbers with people? If you are sharing phone number, you are doing something wrong. Right? If you are sharing phone numbers, don't share the phone number with anybody, even your husband. Don't share phone numbers. Right? That's for security reasons, right? So phone numbers cannot be shared. But when you have it, it has to be unique. But it's not compulsory for you to have it. Are you following me? It is not compulsory for you to have it. But when you have it, it has to be unique. In that situation, we use what? Unique constraint. Right? Can you see? That's my constraint here. Unique. Are you following me? Unique constraint. I put a unique constraint there. Right? Let me see what other constraints we can use again. All right, perfect. Right? Let's assume that Nigeria wants to, send you email of what is happening in the country. Right? Like Mohammed wants to address you every month to show you what is happening every month, right, in Nigeria, how we are entering into a new regime or a new government on May 29 or by May 29, right? So he wants to share email addresses, he wants to send us email addresses. So we say VACA 2. But the thing is, not everybody has email address. My grandmother does not have email address. My grandparents do not have email addresses, right? My children, okay, I have one child, right? Ryan does not have email address, right? So not every Nigerians have email address. But when you have this email address, it has to be unique. Are you following me? When you have your email address, this email address has to be unique. Hence, we say what? Unique. All right? Awesome. Now let's go back to NIN. NIN is not null, right? We say it's not null, which means it is compulsory. Every single Nigerian must have it, right? But if you have it, it must be unique to you. If you have the NIN, it must what? It must be unique to you. So what does that mean? It means that we had what? We had a primary key constraint to that column. What does that mean? It means that for every single person that has this NIN, it has to be unique. That column cannot contain duplicated values, or it cannot contain duplications. That's what it means. That column, the NIN column, your matric number column, cannot contain duplication. Are you following? Right? That is what we have in this situation, right? So we have what? We have unique constraints, right? Let's close that, right? What else? What else? Let me see. What other thing can we add to? Right. This is good, right? This is awesome, right? This is awesome, right? So for us to run this table, I want to rerun this table. But remember, I told you yesterday that you cannot have two tables with the same name. We already created citizen, right, or Nigeria, right? You cannot have two tables on the same name. So I'm going to use another database so that I can run this example, right? I want to use another schema, right? Which schema do we have there that we can use? Let's use Avita, right? I'm using Avita now, right? I want to use Avita to run this schema or to run that code. So I'm inside Avita now. So inside Avita, I have staff, I have department table, I have staff table. So if I run this table, citizen, look at it. Right? Executed or not? Can you see it's executed? Right? Executed. Can you see? Can you see the statement? Executed. Right? So what do we do? What do we do? I said for you to know what's the structure of the table, you do what? You describe it, right? So we describe citizen, right? To see the structure of that table, we describe citizen. Now, look at it. Initially, I told you, look at it. If you look at the first one we had plenty yeses around towards the null value. Now, let's understand what this means. Now, this NIN is what? Is integer unsigned. I hope you can see, right? It's integer unsigned, null value, no. Meaning that what? It cannot contain null value, right? What does that mean? Look at it. Even though we did not specify null value, right? We did not specify not null for what? We didn't specify not null for NIN. What we specified was what? Is primary key. But because we emphasized, we're using primary key to enforce, or we're enforcing a primary key constraint on it, it means that primary key does not allow for empty values. and it does not allow for what? 4 duplications of values. I'll say that again. When you use a primary key column, the column cannot be empty. So you cannot be in a university and say you're a university student and you don't have matric number. You cannot be in Nigeria and say you do not have matric number. I mean, you don't have NIN. You can't be in America and say that you don't have a social security number. Are you following? Now, that column cannot be empty for you. And if you would have that number, it has to be unique. Hence, can you see? It's saying that, so when you declare a primary key constraint, it also enforces what's not null. That's basically what I want to say to you. When you declare a primary key constraint, it also enforces what's not null. Right? So you see, not null. So null value is what? Is 0. It can't contain null value. Then primary key constraint, right? Look at it. Then we have what? First name, varchar 30. It doesn't allow what? Null value, right? Last name, same thing, right? Same thing down. But look at here. Marital status allows for what? For null value. Look at it. Here, what did we do? Marital status, no constraint on it. Can you see? No constraint. Hence, it allows for what? It allows for null value. Can you see? Marital status. It allows null value. Employment status also allows for what? For null value. Right? Null value can be allowed in what? In the employment what? Status. Can you see? Null value is allowed or can be allowed in what? In the employment status. Are you following me? Right? What else do we have? State of origin, not null. Let's see. State of origin, not null. Now look at it. Phone number. Look at it. Look at what you have here. Phone number is what? Is integer unsigned. Now it can contain, can you see not null? Yes. But unique is present. The unique constraint is on it. Can you see? Unique. But what does that mean? It means that if you have unique key does not enforce not null. That's actually the difference between the primary key and the what? And the unique key constraint. I want to say it again. The difference between the primary key constraint and the unique key constraint is that the primary key constraint does not allow for duplications and does not allow for what? For null values. The unique key constraint allows for what? Allows for null values, but does not allow duplication. The values, both of them, their values have to be unique. Primary key, everybody must have that value. Unique, once a column is unique, it means that what? It can be null for you, or for a particular value, or for a particular row. But if that row is going to have it, it must be unique. So it's either you don't have it, but if you are going to have it, it has to be unique. Same thing with what? Email address. It is not compulsory that you have it, but if you are going to have it, it must be unique. Please let me know if you understood all of that, right? Because this is going to form our assignment, right?
Yeah, understood, sir. Please, can you take it again? Like, primary key must be.
All right, let me put it here. All right, put it here
okay,
so that you can see, right? Let me put it here, right? Primary key constraints, right, enforces both not null and enforces not null, enforces not null, and doesn't allow for duplication, or doesn't allow duplication. Doesn't allow duplication. Unique key does not enforce not null, but the value in the column must be unique. The value in the column must be unique. That's the difference between the two of them. Primary key enforces not null. That is, each row must have it, and the values cannot be duplicated. Right? Unique key does not enforce what's not null, but the value, right, must be unique, which means does not allow what? Doesn't allow duplication as well. Right? So unique does not also allow what? Duplication. Right? Doesn't allow duplication. This is continuation. Here is continuation of, let me just put it here. Right? Continuation of that first line. Right? So primary key constraints enforces not null and doesn't allow duplication. Unique key does not enforce not null, but the value in the column must be unique. That is, doesn't allow duplications. Please let me know if you understand, if you understood that. Let me know if you understood that. Let me know if you understood that.
Understood that, sir.
I need confirmation from everybody now, right? Confirmation from everybody. Confirmation from everybody. Everybody. Right? I'm just going to go through the slide and just read the slide because we've covered almost everything around today's slide, right? But I need confirmation from everybody. I beg. Let me know where we are. Let me know where we are. If you understood what I've just explained, please just show me, raise up your hands, right? Let me know what. Okay. Somebody wants to say something. Mama, is that you?
No, I just said, yes, I understand. I understood what you said. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Please, if you understood, just raise up your hand, please. Help me. Help my ministry. Sammy, if you understood, awesome. Sammy.
A question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's on the foreign key.
Don't worry, I've not discussed foreign key, so we'll talk about foreign keys later.
All right.
I have not discussed foreign key, right?
Okay.
Madam Adeshemoye, do you understand? Femi, if I catch you.
Yes, I do, sir.
Solomon. Awesome.
Yes,
Hey, please raise up your hand now. Use the raising. I need everybody to raise so that I know if I'm to move on or not. So if you understand, I'm saying it again. If you understand, just raise, use the please. Thank you. Thank you. If you understand, that's how I'll be encouraged, right? Let me know the people I would ask. When you make it, you are doing well. Biola, you are doing well too. All right.
Well, Mr. Shaw,
Yes, talk to me, ma.
Okay, please, does that mean there's no difference between the unique key and the value key?
The unique key and the primary key.
You said something about value key.
No, primary key.
Okay, value I thought I saw value key.
No, value key. No, primary key. Primary key.
Oh, okay, value in the code. Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You understand? You understand it, Abby?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Madam Odwak, where are you? I've not seen you.
I raised my hands.
You will make you are doing well. You will make Moyo. Madam Angela, why is your hand not raised? Mr. Femi, talk to me. Mr. Femi, I know me up after class, right? I don't have my WhatsApp is down, so I don't have your number. Please chat me up on Telegram, Mr. Femi. Yeah, you understand? Raise up your hand now, my personal person. Raise up your hand. Let me show that to the world that you understand, okay?
Okay, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. Mr. Femi, are you there? Mr. Femi said, understand. What's it on? I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, peace to the Middle East. All right. Moyo, talk to me. What's happening? Is Moyo there? That means this you are eating, you're not giving us. All right. I'm glad everybody understands or understood. Hey, I'm glad everybody understood this concept, right? Right? It's awesome, right? Because you're going to be implementing it. The assignments this time around is going to be longer, right? I'm not even going to drop it. I'm not going to drop the assignments in class now. I'm going to drop the assignment on the WhatsApp. And please, attempt it, right? It's very, very important, right? So let me just run through the slide so that we can understand where we are and where we're going to, right? So what do we have? We have constraint guidelines. It says you can name a constraint or the server will generate a name for it, right? Most of the time, it's very, very important for us to name a constraint, right? We'll talk about constraint naming maybe later, right? Most of the time, right, it's very important that you name your constraint because it can get lost, right? But irrespective, all we just notice is that this constraint is there, right? Take for example, if I want to name the constraint, let me show you, right? It's not very compulsory in some DBMSs, but in Oracle is very important because the system will generate a CCN name for it, right? So I can say the name of this constraint is NIN underscore PK, right? That's the name of the NIN underscore, yeah. Or I can say CZ, that's citizen underscore NIN underscore PK, right? This is going to be the name of the constraint. But in MySQL, we really don't care about what's naming the constraint, right? Once you attach this constraint, you don't need to name it, right? But I'm putting that content there or that clause there, right? For some databases like Oracle, right? So in some cases, right, in some databases, you might have to name the constraint, but not really important, right? Or the server will generate a name for it, right? It is best that you give a constraint a name, right? Constraints can be created at the following table levels, right? You can create a constraint at the same time the table is created, at the same time as the creation of the table, after the table, or after the table, the creation of the table. So we call it, you can create a constraint at the table level or at the column level. I'll say that again. You can create a constraint when you are creating the table, that is at table level, or after you have created the table at column level, right? So we'll talk about that next class, right? We don't want to stress that, right? So constraint creation, right? You see, you define your create table, right? This is at column level, right? You define your create table statement, the table name, then column, the data type, then the constraint. That is at column level. At table level, basically, you're saying that after I've named all my columns, I had the constraint. I'll show you all of this next class. Let's stick with column level. What we did today is column level. We defined the constraint. Most people actually define constraint at column level, right? But it's also important that you know how to declare constraints at table level. We'll talk about that later. But this, when you name, let me just mention it. When you name your constraints after you have named the column, that is column level constraint creation. And what does that mean? It means that this constraint cannot be is attached to the table. Remember, programming is object oriented, right? Constraint is an object. The table is an object, right? But what it means is that when you are creating the table and we create the constraint alongside, what it means is that when the system wants to create these objects, when it wants to create this table now, it's going to create the table. It's going to create the column, and after it creates this column, it will now create a constraint and add it to that column before it moves to the next column. That is what we call column level constraint creation. Column, that is, immediately the column is created, the constraint is created. Then it moves to first name. First name is created, not null is created. Last name is created, not null is created. Gender is created, not null is created. The other way around will be that we create all the columns. Then we'll now begin to create the constraints afterwards, right? That is table level. We'll talk about that in our next class. I don't want to model things up, right? We don't want to model things up, right? So Primary key. Let me see what I left out of primary key. Let me see what I left out. So we say a primary key column or set of columns are a primary key is a column or set of columns that uniquely identifies each row in a table. We've talked about that, right? What are the rules to set a primary key? A primary key must contain unique values. I've said that if the primary key consists of multiple columns, right, the combination of the column of the values in this column must be unique. We'll talk about that as well, right? A primary key column cannot have no values. I've talked about that, right? It means that it must always It must always have values, right? Any attempt to insert or update no values to a primary key column will result in an error, right? Right? Can you see? I'll show you an example before we close, right? Note that MySQL implicitly add a not null constraint to primary key columns. Can you see? Implicitly, that is, when you create a primary key column, what happens? I told you that instantly or almost immediately, a not null is what is created for it. Like we have in this example. Let's look at it again. We did not specify not null. We only specify what? Primary key. But what happened? A not null is what is added to it for us. It's like an extra, right? It's like an extra, right? So a not null constraint is added implicitly when you create what? A primary key. And it's not just on MySQL, it's on almost all DBMSs, right? A table can only have one and only primary key column, right? You can only have one primary key column on the table. A primary key column often has auto increment attributes that automatically generate sequential integer whenever you insert a new column or a new row to the table, right? You have to be able to define auto increment, right? But we'll talk about auto increment later, right? Look at table. Look at this now, right? Let's pay attention to this. I want us to wrap up in under 30 minutes, right? I don't want to take too much of our time, right? Look at it. We're creating a primary key here, like we did earlier, at the column level. Look at it, create table. I hope you can see. Let me zoom out a little bit. I hope you can see. All right, look at it, create table users. User ID is the first column. Look at it now. We have integer as what? As the data. Look at it. We declared auto increment. What the auto increment means is that I'm telling the server to automatically increase the number. Anytime I want to add a new column, if I start from 0, 1, right, I don't need to specify a value for what? For the next row. It will automatically generate the user ID for me. That's auto increment, right? Right, but I don't use auto increment though, right? I try to take control of my of my user IDs, right? Or of my primary key columns, right? And then we have the constraints, right? So what you have here is this is the username. I mean, this is the user ID is the column name. Int is what? Is the data type. Auto increment is what? Is the sequence that we're adding to it. And this is the constraint, right? And you have that. Now look at the table level. Look at it. Same kind of situation. Create rows. Row ID. Int. Auto increment. No primary key. Row name. No constraint. But look at it. And I'll say what? Primary key on row ID. Can you see? I'm now adding the constraint after I have what? I have named the 2 columns. Right? After I've named the 2 columns, I'm now what? Putting the primary key. Right? So here we say that what? The constraint is created immediately afterwards. The column is created. In this situation, the constraint is created after all the columns have been created. That is table level and column level. Right? Table level and column level. Please let me know if you understood that before I proceed. I just want to run. I'm going to skip foreign key constraints. Right, for now, I'm going to skip foreign key constraints so that we don't muddle things up, right? We can always deal with that next class, right? Foreign key constraints, we'll talk about that. Yes, talk to me now.
Okay, please, I'm a bit confused about that table level and column level. Yes. I know table level was what we did yesterday, but
column level is what we did yesterday. Yeah, no, today. We didn't do constraints yesterday. We did constraints today. So we did column level. You know, we didn't talk about constraints yesterday. What we did yesterday was to create a table. Today, we talked about constraints, right? And I'm showing you how to add constraints. And I said there are 2 ways to add constraints to a table. You can add, actually, there are ways, right? There are 3 ways. But let's talk about the first 2. The first 2 comes with what? With the create table statement. So when you are adding your constraints to the table, when you are creating the table, right? We use 2 ways. It's either at the column level or the table level. At column level, the constraint is added immediately after we declare the column name. At table level, you will declare all the what? You will declare all the column names before all the columns before adding what? Adding the constraint. Let me give you an example. Let me relate it to something. Imagine you are building a house, right? Imagine you are building a house, right? And column level would be that you are building a house, right? So you build I don't know how to build houses now, but maybe you want to build a 5-room apartment, right? With living room and all of that, right? So you are saying that let us first of all build everything, right? Let's arrange the blocks, let's demarcate all of the rooms before we roof them. Are you following me? Let's create, which is what most people do, or most construction company does, right? They would what? They would create the rooms, they will build the house to the level before what? Adding the roofing, right? That is what? Table level creation. We are creating the columns before we are adding the constraint to it. The constraint is like the roofing. So you create all the columns. If you like have 1 million columns, you create all the columns first before the constraints are added to them. But at column level, it's like I'm saying that once you create the first room, roof it immediately. Once you create the second room, work immediately. Once you create the third room, so as you create the rooms, you roof them. You don't wait for every other rooms to be created. Once a compartment is created, you add your roofing to it. That is the difference between 2 of them. First one is column level. In that situation, the column is created, the constraint is added. At table level, all the columns are created before adding the what? Before adding the before adding the constraint. Please let me know if you understood that. Please let me know if you understood that. We need to move. Please let me know if you understood that. Please let me know if you understood that. Please bring up. Everybody is still raising up. Oh, hand will pain you. Put down your hand. Right? Don't let hand pain you. Don't let hand pain you. Right? How do you make people put that? Okay, thank you. If you have questions now, right? If you have questions, ask me. Right? If you have questions, ask me before we continue. Right? Next class, we'll talk about foreign key. Right? We'll talk about foreign key next class. Oh, I've forgotten to select it, no. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
When will we get these slides?
I will send the slides, even though they are not done. I don't want to send them at the moment because they are not done, but I'll send them. I'll send it. They are not done yet. My slides are not done yet. Still looking for time to come. But I'll send the ones that I have so that we can have it. Right. I'll send it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any question before we move on? Any question before we move on? Any question before we move on? Talk to me. Talk to me. Any question? Any question? Right. So we've talked about constraints. All right. I'm trying to check the temperature of the class. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'm trying to check the temperature of the class if we can move on. Let me know if you can, if I should move on or want. Are we good to go? Are we good?
Let's move on, sir.
Are we good to go? Can I continue? Please let me know if you can hear me and if you can still see my screen. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see my screen.
Please continue.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Yes, please. Can move on.
All right, we can move on. Awesome. All right. So next class, we'll talk about, I want to jump a little bit on my slide. We'll talk about foreign keys next class. We'll talk about disabling foreign keys. All right, let's talk about not null, right? We said, I talked about not null already. I explained it. I just want to read the slide, right? It says not null constraint is a column constraint that ensures values stored in a column are not null, right? They are not null. It says a column may contain not only one not null. A column may contain only one not null constraint, which specifies a rule that a column must not contain any null value, right? In other words, if you update or insert not null into a not null column, MySQL will issue an error, right? So can you see not null? We're saying title here, create table, tax, right? ID, integer auto increment, primary key, title, 25, 255. Can you see? Can you see 255 length for title? Not null. What that means is that every book must, or every tax, every tax must have a title, right? The start date of the tax, not null. Every tax must have a start date, right? That's basically what not null is talking about. And we also talked about unique constraints, right? We said unique constraints, right, ensures value in a column or a group of columns are unique. For example, email addresses of users in a table or phone numbers of customers in the customer table should be unique. To enforce this rule, you use a unique constraint, right? Unique constraint is an integrity constraint that ensures value in a column or group of columns be unique, right? So look at how to create unique constraints. Look at it here, right? We're adding a unique constraint. We're adding a unique constraint as well, right? We'll talk about check constraints next class as well, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about alter, right? Let's introduce alter before we go back. Next class, I deliberately do not want to mess up what we have built on constraints using foreign keys. I think what we have left to discuss is foreign key and check constraints, right? So we'll skip those for next class, right? I'll give assignments on constraints, but let us talk about alter table, the alter table statement, right? The alter table statement, right, is used to what? To change the structure of a table for what? For reasons, right? It says use the alter table statement to what? To add a new column, to modify an existing column definition, to define a default value for a new column, to drop a column, and to rename a column, right? Remember that I said, look at it. Where's my text? DDL statements are, follow me, just follow me. We know this thing, we ain't got no choice. And you are knowing it already, right? Just follow me. Remember, I said that DDL statements are create, alter, drop, rename, truncate, right? So if you look at it, right, we've talked about create, we want to talk about alter. Now, when you talk about alter, we also talk about drop. Can you see? Because we use the alter table to drop, to alter we use the drop inside the alter, right? And we use the drop, yes, inside alter, and we also use the rename inside alter. We'll talk about constraint, right? So we're almost done with DDL, right? Let me show you, right? So after you create a table, you may need to change the structure of the table structure for what? For any of the following reasons. You omitted a column, your column definition or its name needs to be changed. You need to what? To remove a column, right? Remember, the alter table statement is a DDL statement. Hence, it is auto commit, right? Let's go to MySQL. Let's make some changes. Right? Let me put all of this up so that the more details up. Let's cut this. Let's put them here. All right. So we've created the table. We've described our table. We'll talk about describe. Let me leave that there. Describe. You find describe somewhere. Yeah. Describe up there. All right. I'm doing this so that our codes can be well organized. Awesome. Right. Then we all right. So now let's talk about the alter table statement. Alter table. Right. So the alter table is a DDL statement, right? We know that, right? And it is used to change the structure of table. Structure of a table. Right. So let's look at the business case. Right. So the business case says that one had a what do we want to add now? What is that in what column do we need? Had a column, add a new column.
Say height column.
To this, thank you. Citizen. Add a, okay, let's say add a height column to the citizen table. That's one. Two, change the phone number column. Let's say, don't change, rename the phone number column to mobile number. 3, remove the
marital status.
We should remove marital status. Okay. Remove marital status. This person does not like marital status. I don't want us to remove column from the citizen table. All right. So if you look at everything that we have here, right, our business case is that we want to add a new height column to the citizen table. We want to rename the phone number column towards to mobile number. Same table, the citizen table. We want to remove the marital status from the citizen table. Right? If you look at it, we are working on a single table, and this table already exists. How do we know that the table already exists? What do? We describe citizens. We describe citizen, right? To know if the table exists or not. Right? So we can see our table. We can see that the table does what? The table does exist, right? The table exists, right? So if the table exists and we are asked to do this thing, so what do we do? Introduction, the alter table statement. So I'm going to say alter table. Let's pick them solution one after the other. Solution one, sorry. Right? Just follow me. What did you say we should do? Add in what? Add in ith what? Ith column to the citizen table. All right, so we say alter table citizen. Add column. Right? Alter table citizen. Add column. Right? Ith. What's the, let's call that double. And not null. Right? If we run this table now, if we run this statement now, are you following me? I've executed that statement. What do I do to check? I describe my table citizen. If I execute that now, we go down. Can you see ith? Please confirm to me if you saw that, right? Or if you can see it, right? The ith column, can you see it? Right? We say, let us add the weight column. Weight. Right? If we run the statement again, right? Let us add another column called blood group. Add blood underscore group. Right? Blood group will be character. Blood group are usually 2 character, right? Say 2 character, right? Not null. Right? So if we describe our table again, what do you see? You see all the new columns that we've added. Can you see? Height, weight, blood group. By just what? Altering the table and using the what? The add column what? The add column statement or the add column clause. Right? We're able to add what? Add columns to an already existing table. Solution number 2. Please let me know.
Sorry, sir, before you proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question, please?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. What do you mean by double? In front of weight, why do you put double there?
Double because weight is in decimal, right? Your weight can be 94.02 kg. So double is that kind of, is the data type that allows for decimal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Any other question before I proceed? Any other question before I proceed? Any other question? Any other question? We're cool, though. Are we tired already? Are you following me? Please let me know if you're following.
Proceed, sir, please. Yes, we are.
I'm only hearing one person now. Right? Rename the phone number column to mobile number. Right? So what does it look like? Let's check phone underscore number, right? So we say Okay, solution 2. Alter table citizen. Rename column. Are you following me?
We can only see rename column phone. Did you type any other things, sir?
Can you still see my screen?
Okay, yes, I can see it now.
Okay. Sorry. Right? So look at it. Alter table, right? Want to rename.
Please, sir, Mr. Shehu, please, the table is no longer visible. It's just black.
Can you see my screen now?
No.
No. Yes, it's
yes, now.
Can
We
you
can
see my
see.
screen now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So alter table citizen, rename column phone number to mobile what? To mobile number. Hello. Right?
Hi, sir.
So,
Hi, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
now. We can hear you
Okay.
now.
Yes,
All right.
we hear
All
you,
right.
sir.
So alter table citizen, rename column phone number to mobile number. That has been executed, right? We want to now what? Check for what? Describe the citizen, right? Describe citizen. Let's go to the phone number that used to be phone number, right? Look at it now. It is now what? It is now what?
Mobile number.
Mobile number. It's as simple as that, right? Let's look at residence address, right? It's Baka 50, right? How about we want to what? Extend that 50. Maybe we have an address that is about 120 characters long, right? How do we change that, right? We say, let me put it. Okay, let me put the business case for it. Business case. Before I answer the last one, that's what I'm trying. I just remember that. Extend the residence address
Hello, sir, Mr. Shah, are you there? I can't hear him. Am I the only one?
No, it's
Likewise.
every. I guess his network is bad.
I guess it's the network.
It's the
Okay,
network. No,
okay. I was thinking I was the only one.
no.
Hello, everyone. I am so sorry.
Back.
Please. Thank you.
Welcome back.
I apologize. My network just disappeared. I'm so sorry. All right. I'm so sorry. Things that we face in Nigeria. All right. Thank you for staying back. Thank you for staying back. Let's wrap this up. We'll try for tonight. Right. So the last thing I think we saw me do was that I created so yeah, I was solving a question where I said that we are renaming a column from phone number to what? To mobile number, right? Using the alter table citizen, right? Alter table.
So you're not sharing your screen.
Are we there? Are we there?
No, we haven't.
We can hear you.
Can hear you now, sir.
All right. I'm trying to wrap it.
But we can't see your screen.
Sorry, Mr. Sheung, sir. Mr. Sheung.
Can you hear me? All right. So sorry. Network is Airtel is messing up. Right. Bring it down for. So sorry. So sorry. Right. Let's wrap this up so that I can release everyone. And network will not. All right. So here we want to what? We want to extend the number of characters of residence address to what? To 150. Right. So what do? We say alter table citizen. Right. Modify. That's the word. Modify residence underscore address, right? What is the, so I'm just going to go straight and redefine, what I'm going to do is redefine that column and say what? The column is what? Is residence address, it is 150 before, I mean it's 50 before, this time I'm going to say 150 and it has a constraint on it, which is what? Not null, right? So if we run this now, executed, it will describe our citizen table again. Residence address 150. Can you see? Residence address 150. Residence address 150. And lastly for today, we said delete what?
There's nothing to delete.
Who is talking to this one? Sorry, people. Right. Solution 3. Right. We say delete. What's that solution 3 now? What's the question of number 3? All right. Remove what? Remove the marital status column from the citizen table. Right. Alter table. Citizen. Right. Drop. We use the drop. Drop marital underscore status. right? Drop marital status. So if we look at if we describe the table again, marital status should not be there anymore. Is there any column like marital status now? Hold on, let's see it from this angle as well. Citizen. Right? Marital status. Okay. Marital status is gone. Right? Can you see that it is no longer there? There's no column like marital status anymore because it's gone. Let's delete, let's remove the ith column. Let's remove the ith column. Drop what? Ith column. Right? If we run this now, we describe this table now, and we go to ith. I see that the ith column is gone. So that is basically how to alter a table, right? If we look at it, we use the alter table. So that is everything about the alter statement, right? That's everything about the alter statement. So if you look at the clauses that we use with the alter table, we use modify, we use add column, we use add column as the first one. Those are the clauses that you use with the alter table statement. Add column, right? Then we talk about rename, talk about modify, and we talk about drop, right? Those are the three clauses or four clauses that you use with the alter table statement. Drop, modify, rename, and add, right? Those are the four statements that we use, on the four clauses, sorry, that we use with the alter table statement, right? Any question? I think we've had enough for today so that I can release us tomorrow's church, right? And it's almost 10 o'clock, right? Any question? Any question? I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this this code with us on the group, right? Let me save. Right, I'm going to share this on the group with us again. Right, just edit from last class. I think where we stopped from last class is here. So you just locate where we stopped and just continue from there, and so that you can enjoy your practice. Right, you can enjoy your practice. So any question, talk to me. Any question? I hope we heard everything that I said. I hope we saw everything that I did. Any question? Please let me know if you understood everything that we did today, right? Or you have a good understanding of what we did today. Just raise up your hand, please, if you did understand what we did today. Next class, we're moving to, awesome. Next class, we're moving to, we'll finish DDL statements next class. Then next, we'll talk about DML, right? DDL,
Sir, I have a sorry, sir. I have a
question
before we go. Yes, I just noticed something. When you were doing alter table citizen, I noticed at the end of that citizen, you didn't put semicolon. I hope that is not an error.
After which one?
This alter table. After alter, yes, you didn't put semicolon.
No. The statement continues here. Can you see that I ended it here? This is where I ended this table. The statement.
Okay.
Alter table. It's a full statement like this.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other question? Please give me. Let me know if you understood all that we did today. I apologize for the little break in transmission or break in class, right? But let me know if you understood all that we did today. Let me know if you understood all that we did today. Madam Udwak, Madam Susan, Solomon, Sammy. Oh, thank you, Mama. Eh?
I understood some of it. I'll practice. So I'll watch the video again.
Is that the movie?
Udwak.
Oh, Madam Udwak. Okay. Okay. Some of it. What parts do you have challenges?
No, I said I'll watch the video again. Anyway, I have challenge. I'll call you.
All right. All right. That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Sammy, Queen. Yes, ma'am. Madam Susan, Madam Peju, Madam Angela, Femi, Mr. Femi, talk to me. Queen, don't tell me you are sleeping. Madam Angela.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping, no.
I'm with you, sir.
Good.
The thing is just
all right, it's fine.
It's
just there. Awesome, awesome. Madam Angela, why is it just there? Yola. Where is Ebu is gone. Ebuka. Alaja. Femi.
I'm good, sir.
Awesome, awesome. Femi.
Sir.
Ebuka. Ebuka.
Download my
SQL. So I'm good, sir.
I'm good, sir. I'm fine. So are you sending this class to our group?
The code or the video?
The video.
The video, you get the video this night, right? I'm going to activate all the videos so that you can have access to them this night. All of them are going to go private. I'm also going to download this and upload so that you can watch. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a comprehensive assignment that I'm going to drop on the group, business cases all through, right? That will deal with everything that we have learned so far, So you should get that assignment latest tomorrow, right? So please engage the videos, right? That's why I recorded them. Engage the videos to go through and understand, right? Engage the videos, like the videos, just give me a like button, right? Engage the videos, watch them, and use the knowledge to answer the questions. Please, the group as well. If you have any question, drop on the group, right? Drop it on the group, right? It would help everybody, let them contribute, right? Even before you send them to me, right? Ask your classmates, ask everybody in the community, right? In our community, like I say, ask everybody in our community, let them contribute, let them give you an idea or let them answer for you, right? Let them give you what they understand about it, right? Before you send it to me, right? And hopefully I'll be back on WhatsApp this week again, right? So that I can engage with us on the group as well. But if our people cannot answer it, then of course reach out to me. God will solve it, right? Whatever question, we solve it, right? So, I'm going to drop.
So you're sending the code tonight, yeah?
Yes, I'm sending the code and the video as well this night. I will download and upload this night. So by midnight, you should have the video available. The videos available. All right. Any other question? Mr. Oluwafemi, talk to me. I know that we've not installed your system. Let me know when you are available so that we can really have that conversation and
yes, sir.
Get you through. Yes, sir. Queen.
I'm trying to catch up.
All right. I'll be looking forward to your chat. Please, my number is Queen. Help me send my number to Mr. Oluwafemi.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Please reach out to me. Queen.
Yes, sir.
So not in dating. Queen. Queen, you're on your bed already.
These people, they are just
answer me.
They are just begging
What is
them.
Oh. All right, I don't think that's what. Moyo, do you understand what we did today? Right? Moyo, do you understand what we did today? Oshé. Oji.
Yes, I did.
This attention is attention. All right. Thank you, everyone. Don't let me take another minute of your time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Thank you for listening. Right? We get better every day. Now, this is what I would encourage. I know that we are busy people. We don't have all the time, but please try and go through this at least 1 hour a day. Right? Devote from now to our next class. Right? Our next class is on Friday. Right? Don't let it be a Friday thing. Right? Don't let it be a weekend thing. Right? Practice. Reach out to me. That's why I'm going to give us a long assignment. Right? I'm going to give us a long assignment, and the assignment needs to come in on Thursday latest, so that I can go through them and right, give us reports on them before the next class, so that I can also use them to collate what I need to touch as in the revision for the next class before the next set of topics. So please engage the videos. They're very important. Engage the class, engage the codes that I'm sending to us, right? So that all of it, and engage me as well. Engage everybody in class. Actually, your colleagues in class, right, on the WhatsApp group, to explain what they understand about the particular concept. If you don't get that concept, right, please let's do that. Thank you for coming. Engage me as well, right? I'm Oluwaseun once again, and do have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night,
everyone.
Good night.